Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sonic Mega Mix commentary.
I get it. I get that reference. That's good. It's a good one.
The Sonic Mega Mix is pretty damn good. You guys did Sonic Mega Mix during the Platform Mania.
Antu did. Good run.
Anthony
Good run.
did,
Yeah.
I love this zone so
I
much.
fucking love Studiopolis. I don't give a. This is aesthetically, maybe it's just because I'm a film nerd, but I just fucking love this stage so much. It's this music,
This level is,
everything
this
about
level is
this
great
stage.
aesthetically and design-wise. There's nothing about Studiopolis that I don't like, except the slopes during the Act 1 boss are kind of annoying. But,
I would actually say that I have issues with both bosses, but I'll say those when we get to them. Well, I have issue with the boss of Sonic, because you can kill it in 6 seconds.
Well, fortunately, I get the 7th Emerald in Act 1 here, so the boss is going to be a complete fucking joke.
Yeah, if you're good at the special stages like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you can get super forms really early. Like because of the way Knuckles Act 1 for Green Hill works, it's very possible to get Super Knuckles by the end of Chemical Plant Act 1.
Yes.
So, Lewis, is this LP going to become just Super Sonic the game?
At times.
Good,
but
because
not
his
as much
music
as
is
you
so
might
fucking
think.
good.
Not as much as you might think, because unlike Knuckles and Tails, and this was true in the S3 and K as well, you can't transform when you have a shield up. This is also true of the
You
normal
also
shield.
you also have ultimately, unless you want to drop dash everywhere, you have no reason to tap the button while in the air again as Sonic. So
Not the case with Tails and Knuckles, though.
Nope.
yeah,
Which
that's what I said.
Sonic 4 made it a separate button. That makes it a better game.
it is. Thank you, Ted. I finally agree with you. Sonic 4 best game
Yeah,
ever made.
you said that, Clement said that, I've been saying that. A transform button needs to be patched in. Hell, even Sonic 3 Complete has that as an option.
Well,
And
again,
that's a fan
It'll be a mod. It'll be a mod by the time that the day that the game
PC
comes out.
comes
Trust me on this.
Taxman mods his own game to include
Yeah,
that.
I had the PC version on pre-order. Ryan was nice enough to lend me enough to get the PS4 version.
I gave
so
him
I could record this.
$20. Gave him $20.
Yeah, but as soon as I get the PC version, I'm going to be looking for a mod to get a transform button in this game, because you need it as Knuckles. Now,
Well, I mean, that's not to say that the developers themselves won't patch it in themselves, because day one when this game was live, everybody and their grandmother was posting bugs and all that stuff, and I was contacted by Brad Flick, one of the programmers of the game, when I mentioned one of the soft locks I experienced in special stages, where if you get hit right as you're trying to collect the emerald, Sonic will never leave a stumbling animation.
Yeah, there's a lot of soft lock. There's a lot of innocent bugs in the game. Like when I was grinding special stages, I had the music completely disappear on me 3 times in 5 minutes.
I've been seeing that the Switch version got the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not
they all
surprised
to the
about. I'm not
PS4.
As it
surprised
should
about
be.
that. But at the same time, there is a lot of soft locks, which I think are a big issue. Those are literally game-breaking bugs, and
Yeah.
thankfully, in this
Agreed.
case, the game is good enough to make up for it. Unlike, say, Sonic 06, but
one of
it's
the
still an
things
issue.
that one of the suspicions that came up when the PC version was delayed was that they were trying to improve the DRM, but I don't think so. I think the problem is that they realized too late that the game had too many bugs in it and could not cancel the console releases
Because it
was
costs
too
more.
close to release.
Apparently, it cost a lot more to push console releases back, which is why I believe they were like, we'll push the PC port back, fix the bugs, and then we can just release a patch based on what we do.
But here's another thing, though.
Oh, okay.
Sonic Mania was supposed to have a day one patch, and it did not go live with the game.
Oh. Juicy gossip.
Yeah.
because
First
they,
at
they
TSSC.
realized they couldn't fix everything in time, I would assume. But if they were also going to patch up the PC version, they might as well do all of the patching at once anyway.
At this
Yeah.
point, yeah, I'm thinking if it's not coincided with the game, they're probably going to release it when the PC version goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just makes me wonder, though, why didn't it go live with the game at launch?
Sonic
Sonic Mania is perfectly playable as is, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure a lot of the issues that everyone's been posting, including my soft lock shenanigans, would have been fixed if the day one patch went live as it was supposed to.
Or at least some of them, you know?
Yeah.
Not that the original games weren't buggy, but
They were buggy
standards
as
are a little
shit.
bit different. Yeah, the original games are very, very buggy. But at the same time, standards are a little bit different when you're playing a game from 2017 as opposed to a
Well,
game
honestly,
from 1992.
if you're even going to use the original games as a justification for bugs, at the present time, Sonic Mania is buggier than the original games.
Also, just as a quick aside before we go any further, yeah, Special Stage 7, pathetically easy.
I can't beat Special Stage 6. I just cannot beat it.
Well, the
Super
reason...
Sonic has his actual theme now.
God damn, I fucking love this track.
It's long, which is the good thing.
Yeah.
It's longer than 3 seconds.
It's long. It's also got some kick-ass guitar going on. But, it's just like the Supersonic theme, more than anything else, really makes me appreciate this soundtrack over the goddamn Sonic 4 soundtrack. Because, like, it's so much easier to listen to a loop of guitar than it is to listen to a loop of dying cats.
What about Quacking Ducks?
Hey, I like the Sonic 4 Supersonic theme. You shut up, you. I was okay. So my problem with this boss is, for some reason, and I don't know why they put this in, the game will actively push you back as you try and jump over these missiles. I'm not sure why that this design was implemented in, but it's fucked me over so many times.
The stage is scrolling faster than I think Sonic's moving.
Well, then that needs.
Yeah.
I think that should be fixed in, because it's not a game-breaking bug, but I would get hit 9 out of 10 times trying to jump over these missiles.
It's a lot more difficult to be precise during this boss battle than it was during, say, the Mushroom Hill boss.
Right. Well, that was just a straight line, though. You
didn't have the slopes,
curves.
but even when you're jumping off of a straight horizontal patch of ground, you're still dealing with that
Being pushed
pushback.
back.
Which again,
The
you know,
And that's honestly that's what caused me the most strife is unfortunately going over a slope as soon as I'm ready to hit the blue missile, because that will get my jump.
and you know what, guys,
Yeah.
I'll just say in the Metal Sonic fight in episode 4, it doesn't push you back and try and jump over stuff. I'm just saying, Sonic 4 best game ever made.
You're Sonic 4 apologist.
I would recommend, to make life a little easier on yourself, to drop dash.
Go super.
No.
Go super.
Get all 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Drop dash into the blue missiles.
This is where I first learned the potential utility of the drop dash, because it made it easier to hit the blue missiles.
Yeah, the drop dash has a lot of utility. It's just not obvious utility. Like, yeah, it's good for speed runs, but it's also good for just quick changes of direction, for very quick offensive capabilities, and it's very useful in the chase bosses.
What is the cool bonus? What gives you it?
The cool bonus is like how flawlessly you got through the level. Like, you're getting a 0 cool bonus if you die, but you'll always get a cool bonus if you get through without dying.
It's basically how many times you get hit bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The elusive perfect run, the professional hedgehog achievement, is, I think, getting a perfect cool bonus in Act 1 of Titanic Monarch.
Lewis, please, what? What now?
Huh?
I wondered why you spent so long. Like, you kept going back and forth. Like, is the whole part gonna be this? Lewis versus Studiopolis Act 2. We can't get past it.
No, I was trying to get a trophy here. You know what the annoying thing is? I don't manage to get it, because I'm trying to get my picture taken by this camera robot, which I thought was the thing that you needed to get for this trophy. But I get the trophy by accident later on in the level.
Oh, that would kill you in other Sonic games.
Yeah.
It just harmlessly bounces off your head.
Yeah, you can stand there with the item boxes bouncing on your head forever if you want. It's great.
Oh no, not forever. After 10 minutes, you die.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know,
He's got a point.
Which, you know, guys,
I just want someone to record a 15. No, not a 15-minute loop. Well, a 9-minute loop of Sonic just standing there with like a flame box bouncing on his head, and the text "haters gonna hate" flashing on screen for 9 minutes. Just him in his idle animation with the item box doing that. That's all I want.
One thing
Please
that I
applause.
did test out, though, was like one of the first that I tested out was actually waiting for 3 minutes to see if Sonic kills himself from impatience. No, he doesn't do that in this game.
0 out of 10 worst game ever made.
Yeah, it's like Sonic 4's back.
Well, you know, that was amusing. That was amusing in the days of the Sega CD, but nowadays it's 2017, the era of
It is. Oh fuck! I'm in the wrong year.
Stream. in the era of the live stream, when gamers routinely have to, there's the trophy. When gamers routinely have to stop playing in order to voice chat with people, having an auto kill idle animation is kind of a cheap shot.
That's what the pause button is for.
I spent way too much time playing Blue Sphere in my playthrough. Like, I spent. I'm terrible.
It's a little too easy to get into in a main playthrough, so you can wind up playing it way more than the actual.
I will say,
sometimes.
am I the only one who thinks the returning stages are much better designed than the new ones?
I haven't. I'm not good enough to get to the new ones. So
the new ones are definitely more dickish than the old ones.
Yeah,
they're more obtuse.
They play on the fact that you probably played a lot of Blue Sphere growing up, and they take advantage of that because there are some that are extremely fucking tight with the turning.
Yep.
There are also some that play against your expectations, where there are a lot of them that make you go on a straight path, and you have to figure out as you're doing it what rings you can and cannot get.
Yeah, what Blue Sphere is you should and should not collect.
Thanks, Taxman.
Yeah. Well, that was to an extent true of the original Blue Sphere stages as well.
A few, yes, but not as many as the new ones are.
The Blue Sphere stages in Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles were, well, again, it comes back to that 2 difficulty curves thing, where they both had to be designed so that you could get all 7 emeralds within a single playthrough. So you start doing easy special stages again halfway through the game. The thing about the special stages here is that they are trying to make the later special stages deliberately harder to have that upward sloping difficulty curve.
Because it's all tied to one game and not an individual playthrough.
Yeah, but you know, but they also make it so that you don't have to do it all in one playthrough to begin with.
Yes.
Also, the gold medals inherently don't do anything. I've discovered later.
Oh, so you can unlock stuff just from silver medals then?
You can unlock everything via silver medals. The gold medals are just for a trophy achievement.
Okay,
but there's no platinum trophy, so what's the point? What's the point in playing the game? I can't get a goddamn platinum trophy. Fuck you, Sega. You said spring.
The other thing though is that the game tracks your progress in Blue Sphere across all playthroughs.
Which is a great touch.
You can very easily spam the first 2 checkpoint goalposts in Green Hill.
There's my boy.
To get
him go.
all of the medals easily.
I will say, no, guys, and this is a because he's on screen. I will still say, I know I've joked a lot about it, but I still maintain Sonic 4 Episode 2 is best 2D Supersonic. Just because he does way more. This guy still drowns. What the fuck?
It is classic.
So we were talking about mods. We were talking about mods for Supersonic to have his own transformation buttons. I would like at least the option to be able to listen to the original music instead of the Supersonic theme. Like, granted, this is like
bonus points to Sonic 3 Complete though, because they give you that option to do.
Well,
that.
that's more necessary because that theme's awful. Like
it's 9 seconds long.
I haven't done 9
seconds
on my
long.
own, so I can't really say for sure how much I enjoy this theme. I do appreciate that it's long, but at the same time, I would. Wow, this boss is pathetic normally, and you're just making it even more pathetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, nice touch, Christian.
Yeah.
With the buzz.
Okay, so guys, the problem with a lot of these bosses is they're more fun to play as Knuckles, because as you just saw, a lot of these bosses Sonic can just attack before they've even attacked him once. So that's why I think a lot of them, if they were just placed higher, as to because like this boss actually has a really fun gimmick, but I would imagine most people never get to it because you can destroy this bastard in 6 seconds, which really defeats the fun of this having this.
If
boss
you're playing
in
as Knuckles, you have to make more use of it because he can't jump as high.
which makes the boss. I think that makes the boss way more fun to actually play through the gimmicks. Which I you know, if there's some kind of patch,
you have to actually try.
You have to actually play the game. If there's a patch, one thing I hope they can do is as Sonic, because you can't really help it with Tails because the bastard can fly, but to make Robotnik higher up in the screen so you can't just attack him while he's just stationary. That just again removes so much of the
Tails is
fun.
supposed to be easy mode anyway, so
Exactly.
it's not really that.
Makes sense for him.
know.
Makes sense for him.
Yeah, so, okay, when I was first playing this game, you know, I kind of had to push my way through Green Hill and Chemical Plant because, you know, they were obligatory, but then I got to Studiopolis and I started actually having a lot of fun with that stage because, it's like, it's not just as it's a new theme, but it's also very, very unique and the level design's good, and then I get to Flying Battery, and I find myself just, it's, you know, not that the level design
My man
is
knows.
bad
My man
necessarily,
knows.
but it's just I don't want to say that it's just the aesthetics, but whenever I get to one of these returning levels, especially the ones that are we've seen, especially like the ones, for example, that I've seen a little bit more, like for example the Sonic 2 stuff. Like when we got to Metallic Madness, I hadn't played much of Sonic CD, so that was actually interesting for me. But oh wait,
So what you're saying, Ted, is that you're one of the people of Sonic was never good to begin with.
no, Sonic was never my thing to begin with, but
No, I know. I'm more joking at the.
I thought
people who say that.
I could do that. That's what I get for being fancy.
Hubris, Lewis. Hubris.
To back up for a few seconds, since I didn't get a chance to say this, for the people who don't know, for the 5.5 people who don't know, the anniversary celebration event that announced this game initially was a bit of a hot mess.
That's that's putting it politely, Lewis. It was a clusterfuck.
it was awful.
For online viewers of the stream in particular, there was this specific buzzing that was going on through the entire stream.
No,
Or
not the
most
time.
of
The
it.
first hour and a half, it was there.
The first
constantly.
hour and a half, yeah.
Well, I mean, it got better, but it was still there in the second half too.
They
got
put
better,
that
yeah.
buzzing. They put that buzzing in the background at the end of Studiopolis Zone.
Which is way more pronounced now that I'm actually wearing headphones
It's
to
great.
actually hear it.
Also, the number on that TV is 072216, which was the date that event took place. That's a
Just
really
to
good
make
touch.
sure they knew.
That's a really
Just
good
to make
touch.
sure you knew it was on purpose.
Which I remember that event because I had a bunch of people over the house watching it, and they played like the Sonic Mania trailer, like with no audio before I guess they revealed it in person. So a bunch of us watching like
Yeah,
what
they-
the
yeah,
fuck
they
is this?
Yeah, they were going to. I remember specifically they were talking. We're going to announce something, and then and we didn't know what the hell was going on until they just showed the Sonic Mania trailer. So
I think Aaron Weber's being attacked by ninjas.
I want to say also I say every time a shout out to my boy Skylar. He was the best part of that stream. Whenever it would cut to the stream only portion, his shit was great. He was way more entertaining than everyone
man,
on
it's a good
stream.
thing that guy's already had something in theater because I couldn't keep a straight fucking face with all the shit that's going on.
Don't get it. Oh, Lewis, no, you got it. Now you're stuck being magnetized with that level.
John, this has anti-gravity. You hate this game, right?
No, it's technically not anti-gravity. It's magnetism.
I actually do want to be magnetized here because you can get a speed shoe power up over here.
Also, when you go to the propeller area right above, if you manage to make it all the way to the right at the top, you can magnetize to the ceiling and get some extra lives and rings and stuff.
Yeah, which I didn't manage to do because I went and walked into a badnik like a dumbass. One thing that I do appreciate about these propeller sections, which I don't think was true of Sonic and Knuckles, is that you can't actually accidentally push yourself up into the blades.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I got really paranoid about doing that.
Yeah, the game stops you before you get there, so it's not a worry here anymore.
One small change, and we haven't got to yet, but the sections when you go onto the top again, where you have to wait for missiles to make a hole, and for some reason Eggman programmed his own ship to attack itself. But for some reason,
Oh yeah, that was in
only
the
happens
original
at-
too,
it'll-
and that got me
yes.
stuck.
well, no, it was in the original, but thankfully in the original, you would occasionally have to do like 2 or 3 rounds before it made a hole.
This time it happens to the
This
first
one
round
is
every
just
time.
one, which is, I will say this, that there are, as we said in the last part, there are a bunch of like design choices that I guess out of nostalgia they felt a need to keep in the game. That's one of them. The fact that they still have not made a custom Supersonic sprite for when he's holding on to something or looking up, I think just it's like, come on guys, you made sprites.
They did make a new sprite for when he's looking up.
For when he's looking up. Oh, maybe from when.
Just for when he's looking up, though. That's the only one. That's the only new animation they gave him is when he's looking up.
Speaking of the supersonic look, though, I think my favorite glitch that I've seen so far is that I've seen one person go supersonic, but the color palette for Sonic didn't load. So he had the the huge spikes and spike changes, but he wasn't gold. He was still blue.
Yeah, if you hold,
Yeah,
if
so-
you're, what causes it, if you're looking up and then you turn into if you look up in the camera pans and then you try to turn into
Yeah.
supersonic, it won't work for some
Oh,
reason.
nice! I gotta try that. Sounds great.
So you were Mega Sonic.
Yeah, there's also a glitch in Flying Battery where you can get caught on the little grabby things on the ceiling in the wrong way and get stuck there and have to reset the stage.
I managed to do this by accident twice in a row. You know where the missiles blow a hole in the floor? I happen to
Yeah.
be standing in just the right place by accident for it to trigger his "I'm so bad" animation.
You know, Goku and Vegeta had to do intense training with Whis to achieve Super Saiyan Blues. Sonic just had to hold up on the D-pad and jump twice.
I don't give a fuck what Death Battle says. Sonic better than Vegeta confirmed.
Ah, damn it.
No, they said Shadow was worse than Vegeta. Sonic, we don't know. But we
And
that's a-
Superman kicked Goku's ass twice. Suck it, Adam. Suck it, Maria. You can't take that. Dragon Ball Z sucks.
Sadly, these things do not reset themselves, so if you miss your chance like I just did, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, you guys know these stages better than me. How much of the Act 1... I recognize huge sections of level designs, but are the Act 1s just straight up repeats of the original stages?
No,
or-
no. A lot of the set pieces are the same or similar, but the level design as a whole, especially in Green Hill, because Green Hill was really small originally, are entirely new.
Basically,
Um,
what?
I would say it's more obvious for Flying Battery in Act 2.
Well, I would say for most of the zones, and mostly in Act 1, sometimes in Act 2, what they'd actually do is take set pieces and design elements from, say, so for Green Hill, they would take set pieces kind of from all 3 zones for Act 1, and then Act 2 would be more original. Same with like Flying Battery and like Starter Speedway to a certain extent. So
Yeah.
normally there is at least one act which is more or not almost entirely original in terms of like set pieces and level design, which I think is
Yeah.
a pretty decent way of doing things.
Even when the game is calling back to something, though, it's often in an unexpected way. Like, okay, a Flying Battery Zone Act 2 has a lot of Flying Battery in it, but then suddenly you go through a door and it's more Wing Fortress. And then maybe on one of your playthroughs you fall into the lower route and realize that they've put in a bunch of Sky Base for some reason.
Yeah, and just a quick note on that first trash sifting section. Just go all the way down to the bottom, hold left, and there's a secret ring.
Yeah.
And also somehow between the 6 seconds between Act 1 and Act 2, we're now in a raging storm somehow. That shit came on quick.
You see, I think these things, like I actually found a lot of the sort of more subtle nostalgia callbacks to be actually pretty cool. I just feel like I would be less cynical about them if there weren't so many stages and aesthetics and huge level design pieces lifted from the previous games as well. Like so here's the way I kind of look at nostalgia in video games. If I wanted to play Green Hill Zone again, I could boot up my copy of Sonic 1 and Green Hill Zone would be right there. I feel like the better way to recapture that is the feeling of playing the old games again is to make something that gives you that same general feeling, if that makes sense, which I feel like the new stages in this game actually do quite well, because like, oh man, I'm playing this like lost Genesis Sonic game, that's pretty cool. And when it's just like, oh, I'm going through the same part of Chemical Plant Zone that's already in Sonic 2, I'm like, okay, but I could play Sonic 2 and see this part again as well.
Yeah, but
so,
Ted, unless unless you're playing the iPhone version, Sonic 1 and 2 on HD widescreen, 60 FPS 4K. It's the only way to play a true game.
I think that's also really only a problem in terms of their positioning within the game earlier returning stages and mostly Act 1s.
I do want to mention, some people are going to scoff at the widescreen HD thing, but the widescreen and the, smoother performance of the game does help quite a bit, actually.
Helps you see further ahead.
It helps you see further ahead, but it also means that the frame rate is not jittering when things get busy. Which,
I'm not joking when I say it helps you see ahead, because I got plenty of family members who they play platformers, but they won't touch a Sonic game because for them it's too visually busy and fast for what they're used to. You know,
Sonic goes too
And
fast and
because
too
Sonic
slow.
was never good.
The problem is that there are the people that prefer Mario over Sonic for the very because Mario is you don't go really fast, and Sonic they're running into everything left and right, and it's not no much their fault. It's just that's just the way Sonic is. You take it or leave it.
Have they not played Mario 3? He's fucking fast as shit in that game.
Sonic is definitely a game that rewards you for playing it over and over and learning where all the hidden stuff is and stuff like that.
Yeah, at the same time, I would say Sonic Mania and to some extent the Sonic CD 1-2 rebuilds on iOS, although the controls I could really do without. They're definitely more fair.
Yeah, Mania does not, aside from the crushing problem that still persists as Lewis showed in Chemical Plant, there really aren't any cheap instant death or bottomless pit stuff.
No, their Flying Battery is still pretty bottomless pit heavy.
Yeah, I would say
there's a difference between a bottomless pit and a cheap bottomless pit death, which has been a problem in Sonic ever since Sonic 1, but only in very very specific places like Starlight Zone.
or the whole of Sonic Rush. I would argue though that in terms of bottomless pits and being crushed, there are a handful of small sections where those are kind of the level design relies a bit too much on those, but it's only a handful of sections and it isn't enough to ruin the overall I think game level design, but it's not as minor an issue as I think you're making out to be.
Yeah, Sonic Mini is actually really, really light on bottomless pits too, so.
Well, that's good. I unless it's a part of the level's gimmick or in Fly Battery's case, it makes sense because you're so high up in the sky.
Yeah. On the subject of cheap death trap situations,
why have a spikes normal there for? Damn it! Make a new sprite.
Okay, earlier in this commentary, someone mentioned Sonic Advance as being, Sonic 4 as we truly imagined it and everything. I like Sonic Advance 1 quite a lot. However, it has level design problems. One of them being that it's really...
Are you talking Egg Rocket?
Egg Rocket is a major offender, but it happens throughout the game where a speed section will launch you into a section where you have... into a location where you have about a nanosecond to realize the spikes are probably going to protrude from the ground and damage you.
Oh yeah, the ones that go in and out, those are obnoxious.
Yeah.
In all the Sonic Advance games, I would say, not just one.
It deliberately launches you into that situation where you have a really small window to realize, oh god, they're doing this again. And then you have to jump before the spikes hit you. They're always going to hit you.
This is such a creative boss.
It's creative, but I hate it.
This is easily one of the, I think, best bosses in the game, and I'm embarrassed to say it took me over a minute to realize what to do. But it's a really good boss.
This is also one of the bosses that Super Sonic absolutely breaks because he can actually get enough speed to knock Eggman into the spikes normally.
Well, actually, Ryan, actually, a normal Sonic can, because yesterday I was playing this.
You can, but it's a lot harder.
It's harder, but it is technically possible.
You see, I didn't really like it because it felt like it took forever. Is one of the things. I feel like the bosses either are done in 3 seconds or you're in them for 3 minutes.
Well, to be honest, I don't mind
sometimes
Sonic Mania having longer bosses on average because this game also has a time trial mode. So if I want to speedrun a level without dealing with the boss, I can do that. But to compensate for that, they actually do make the bosses feel more epic by having them take a little bit longer if you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know. I feel like there's very few bosses that feel like a normal boss. Let me try to explain. I know we're over the part. It feels like either the boss you have to beat it in kind of a gimmicky way. The biggest example is Chemical Plant, but in this case too, you can't just hit it. It feels like any boss that you fight normally is done in 3 seconds. And it's only bosses that have some sort of weird gimmick to them that tend to go on any longer, if that makes sense. On
my first playthrough, I didn't actually beat any of the bosses quickly. They all kept me on my toes for a little while until I figured out the pattern I was supposed to use. Granted, I also have an aversion to getting hit on purpose so that I can abuse of invincibility frames to just hit the boss. So that had something to do with it. But all of the bosses did take longer than average for me.
All of them,
So,
really?
yeah, all of them.
I was gonna say if you take more than 10 seconds for Oil Ocean Act,
Act
1,
one.
I'm sorry, you should probably.
Oil
play
Ocean
something
Act 1,
else.
which one is that again?
Unless you're Knuckles, it's the one that just stands there.
That's the harmless construction worker that's just doing his
Which,
job.
guys, I will make a play. I have no idea what his attack is because I've never seen it.
We'll get to him.
That one was the easiest one, but what he does is he launches all of the
We'll get to it.
things up. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we won't have any more time to talk about it because I'll be supersonic for that boss. Spoiler
Boss,
alert.
yeah, it's like we gotta get it out of the way now because this commentary is going a mile a minute.
I'll talk about it during the act leading up to it.
Yeah.